This is Oracle Daphne. My name is Beth, and I'm back today to do another charm reading for you guys. This is going to be a little bit of a shorter reading because I have to go get my laundry, and laundries are always crazy on Sundays. The laundry room is. So anyways, it's going to be kind of a shorter reading. You can see this in my charm bag, and yeah, I'm just going to pull some charms today. I made some tea. And I'm gonna pour some tea actually while I'm talking to you guys. This is my kind of a blend. I did some hyssop, some echinacea, and what else did I put in there? Oregano. That's what I did. So that's the tea I've got going on today. The tea really helps with the positive energy. So I'm just kind of like taking that in. I do want to check my audio really quickly. There we go. Okay. So yeah, I'm back pulling some charms today. Like I said, it's gonna be a little bit of a shorter reading. If you'd like to get a private reading, you can send me a payment in the link on my website, oracledaphne.com. You can do Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, whatever you prefer. I prefer PayPal. That way I can keep track of everybody. And yeah, as far as donations, I have let everybody know that donations are required. If you are exchanging energy on this channel, then it's a requirement to donate, even if it's just $10. I do want to shout out to people who have donated. Thank you so much. Just want to say that I am for the support. And yeah, I'm pretty much ready to jump in. So I'm just gonna pull some charms, see what we got. Okay, gonna have to make sense of all of this. There we go. Sorry about the light in here. Like I started off like today, I was like, the light in here is so amazing, and then suddenly it's like I feel like the day is so short and the day is already gone. But anyways, I am seeing some very interesting things. You see how there's these like three very like copper looking pieces like all together? To me, that's like the three of coins. To me, it's the element of like the number three. I'm recording live, and I just noticed I've been recording 4 minutes and 39 seconds. So essentially, the number three here is significant. Good things come in threes. That's like the biggest message. So expect good things to happen in threes. To me, this is like the element of unexpected income. This is the unexpected, like, I don't know, becoming a parent. And then this is maybe unexpected travel as well. But like they're different energies, but they're all like part of like very similar looking pieces. I feel like some of the energies are a little bit fussy, maybe a little bit hangry. So I would encourage everybody to make sure you're eating snacks. Like put some power bars or granola bars in your car. Make sure, you've got some nuts and some iced tea if you're making a drive. It's so funny how I'll tell this story is that actually my dad, this was like a while ago, because my dad's passed, but he had blood sugar problems, and one day, and he was like notorious about going for long periods of time without like snacks. He might stop and get a bag of chips, like to eat on the way home from work, but like essentially he'd go for just long, long periods of time. And the thing is one day he fell asleep at the wheel, and that was not pretty, you know. And he was okay. It was like miraculous that he was okay, but like that was like a wake up call for him. And then this was the funny part of this story actually is that I was like, Dad, you got to keep some nuts in your car and some iced tea. And later in time, you know, he did that actually. And he told me the same thing. And I was like, Dad, I was the one to tell you that. He's like, keep some cashews in your car and some iced tea. It was just funny, you know. And I was like, yeah, I did say that. I was I was the one to tell him that. So you know, you might want to just get some snacks for your car, and you know, whether it's almonds or cashews or whatever it is that, you know, snack that you can like tuck in your glove compartment or tuck in the next seat over, or keep in your purse, or you know, whatever your man gear or whatever you know you've got to a backpack, whatever it is, you know, to keep on hand so that you don't get depleted. That's the message here. And you know, like fussy energy, picky energy, hangry energy can come from just not taking enough time to breathe, not taking enough time to just chill out, not taking enough time to have like a morning routine or a bedtime routine where you kind of slowly make it into your day, or you know, slowly make it into your evening routine. Like some people they don't know what an evening routine is. And it's funny because I watch a lot of videos on YouTube that talk about like creating like a good ambiance at night for yourself. So lighting a candle, maybe putting on some essential oil, you know, getting into bed and reading something, and like turning yourself on off or tucking it away, and like taking some time to just maybe get into some comfy clothes and just kind of chill out for like an hour before bed. So like that would be like a nighttime routine. Other people have kind of like a really extensive nighttime routine where they go out for a walk, like an evening walk, to kind of calm down. And it is interesting that I do sleep better if I've gone for a run or a jog during the day. And I do sleep better if I go out for at least one walk. It doesn't matter what time it is. If I've gone out for a walk, it helps clear my mind. So I encourage everybody to do those things. That will help prevent this like fussy sort of feels fussy or picky energy that I'm picking up on here. You know, we have Emily Dickinson. And Emily Dickinson really makes me feel very bookish. Like, makes me want to read more books. Like, the fall kind of makes me want to read books, but like Emily Dickinson in particular. And I don't know what it is about her writing that like makes me want to read more, but she does. It's sort of just like a way of looking at the world, maybe a little bit of a romanticized perspective. Some of you might be a little bit cottagecore, or a little bit like have romanticized your life a little bit. And that's totally awesome. Like, I totally support that. Any homesteaders, like anybody who does homesteading, I totally support also. I just want to put that out there as well. And that to me is kind of traditional, more kind of earthy energy, which is like very much in touch with nature. And like for a long time, it's been like one of my goals actually, is to feel like more like I can flow with the seasons. So like be really active in the summer, and then be you know, slower in the winter, and then during the fall and spring kind of go through like a transition period where it's kind of like this in-between time, you know, where I'm not like worried so much about doing XYZ, and I can really flow more with the seasons and eat seasonally, or harvest things seasonally, or forage more like in the fall and spring. So to me, that's just energy there. But also Emily Dickinson, man, she I don't know. She brings out like the romantic vibes. For me at least. I feel like when I'm reading Emily Dickinson, I feel like there's an element of romance and love in what she's writing. It also reminds me of like that energy of not necessarily having so many life responsibilities. Like when I was in high school, I read a lot of poetry and I loved poetry. I still love poetry and I write poetry, but it's like very few people are actually interested in poetry anymore. It's like a dead art, Um, I mean, it's not dead because completely. Because there are some people that still write it and are successful publishing it, but it's just like how many people that you talk to on a daily basis talk about how they're a poet. It just like doesn't exist anymore. So some of you during this time are going to be dating someone that you fall in love with. Emily Dickinson also to me like brings out that simplicity. Again, it's like that simplicity of falling in love, like going out on a few dates and really liking a person and kind of being young and in love, and feeling those love vibes and not necessarily feeling the pressure of life. Again, it's sort of like the energy of being in school. And some of you might be in school, okay? Literally be in school and studying things. Some of you might be interested in poetry and literature. But I'm just getting, it's just my guy keeps showing me like this one fall when I was in college and I fell in love with someone at that time, and it was really, really fun. And I really enjoyed the experience, It wasn't like, it wasn't like it was going to last forever, but I enjoyed the experience. It was one of those relationships that I don't regret, And I remember, you remember things like that. You remember the fall energy and you remember how it felt to fall in love in the fall time. So some of you might be focusing on romance, You might be working on romantic gestures with a partner or connecting more with a partner. Some of you might be focusing more on dating, on romance, on spending quality time, with a person. But I don't know. The Emily Dickinson thing, to me, that's just very romance oriented, relationship oriented, school oriented, books oriented, but it has this vibe of just like only wanting to focus on one person, like being in love and not really being able to focus on anything else, not really wanting to focus on anything else, just being in love with one person. My guides are confirming that, which I find is really interesting and very sweet. I think that, yeah, it's funny. Like just thinking about it, just kind of tuning into it, it's hard for me to concentrate. So like some of you, if you're falling in love with someone, they might do that to you, where you have a difficult time concentrating when you think about that person. Or you have a difficult time focusing on what you're supposed to be focusing on, It's like really romantic vibes. And my guy is showing me, okay, this is a funny story, okay? I don't think I've talked about this. There's a neighbor who has this dog. It's a black dog, and I don't know what kind of dog he is. He looks kind of like a German Shepherd, but he's not. He's just all black. And his name is Jack. And every time I come in contact with the dog kind of appears to melt. And his owner is just like, this is so, he tells the dog that the dog is so disgusting because of the way he looks at me. The dog looks at me with this lovey-dovey face, and he kind of just melts. And I just connect with the dog. You know, I pet the dog for a little while. And it's just the way the owner says it. Like every time I bump into them, he pretty much says that every time. He's like, he talks to the dog. He's like, you're so sick. That's so disgusting. Just because of how the dog acts, like when I'm around, and it's just kind of like a little bit, I think, embarrassing for this gentleman, and I find that very endearing and sweet. And it's just like, I think the funny part is that like you or somebody else is gonna have that. It's almost like a overwhelming, like melted, like you're gonna be like a puddle. Like with whoever it is that you're dating or in love with, like you're gonna be like this melted puddle with hearts in your eyes. You know what I'm saying? Like there's that hearts in your eyes kind of energy where it's like the dog looks at me with hearts in his eyes. And it's funny, every time that happens, the owner is just so sarcastic, because he's just like, at one time he's like, do you want to be with Beth, or do you want to be with me? And it was just so funny. I don't know. It's like that energy, like that hearts in the eyes energy, that's very lovey-dovey, very, very lovey-dovey. And like, it's the kind of, thing where people around are going to be like, get a room. You know what I mean? Like, don't, like, there might be some PDA. There might be a lot of PDA, where you're all about being together and touching and kissing and just like, it's very romantic, or it's just very lovey-dovey. Where you're kissing all the time, where you're touching all the time, and I don't know, like I feel like whoever this is, you're gonna know who this is, and to me, it's like I'm seeing a relationship where you're kind of like attached at the hip, not in a bad way. Like sometimes attached to the hip, is a little bit intense. It's more like, when you go out, you're just going to be really close. And like, you might have a very close emotional bond with somebody. But to me, it's a very romantic. I haven't seen this kind of romance in a long, long time. I mean, yeah, I see relationships all the time. I see, people getting married all the time, but it's never like this level, romantic. Okay, so I have to mention, so this Crane Lake, so this wanted to come out. And this obviously is a wine. So again, the wine with the Emily Dickinson, absolutely going on a date, wining and dining. Wherever you're going, you might have a drink or two. You might not. Again, this is 21 and over, obviously, if you're doing that. But, like the Crane Lake, to me, I kept this because the word crane, which is like the heron path in my archetypes. I have a collection of archetypes. And the heron path is a very special path. It's my favorite path, actually. It's the kind of thing where all the positive stuff that maybe you've waited to have happen comes to pass. All the positive stuff that could happen comes to pass. The heron is like a sign that you're going to get a call back on a job, or you're going to get a call back on something that you've waited on. It's a sign that all the crap that you've been through that's like maybe challenging is no longer. And the heron, every time I have seen a heron, or I've seen a heron in like my archetypes deck, or looked at the heron path, I'm telling you, good things happen. Good things come. Things come faster. Things start moving along. Things start happening where you kind of get like a boost of either abundance or, like I said, it could be a job, or just start to feel really good about things. Really, really positive. So I consider this like a big thing. It's interesting that like we have Emily Dickinson there, and then we have this here. And I think that like there's something about the timing of this, because I feel like at the time, either when you get like a callback on something, you're also going to have something happen blossoming in kind of relationships. At the time you get some good news, you're going to be very much in love. At the time something happens like that's very, very positive, you're going to be kind of romanticizing your life a little bit. Or you're going to be having a lot of romantic activity. Let's just put it that way. And romantic activity does not necessarily mean sex. Although I will tell you that people don't necessarily know what romance is anymore. So I find like that's probably going to be the biggest challenge for those of you who are watching who don't know what romance is any longer. Everybody has their own ideas about what romance is, and a lot of men think romance is sex, but it's not. It can get there, but it doesn't necessarily mean sex. So again, you guys are going to be exploring what romance is during this time. And you're going to be also very blessed to have something else happen or go down that's like a major positive thing for you. There's like a million positive things that it could be. I do also want to say the Heron path was the path that I created that talked about moving back to Ellensburg. This is when I made my archetypes deck. Okay. So the path that was about moving back to Ellensburg, and moving back to Ellensburg represented for me when I had moved to Nebraska, kind of like a fresh start. It represented going home. It represented feeling at home. It represented feeling really positive about things. Going back and starting over, or going back in time and doing things differently, like a second chance, basically. And I looked at the number 2, as I said that, and it's 22:52 as recording time. So again, some of you are getting, it's like a second chance on something. Now, some of you might have had like a near-death experience, and like you're making plans to do things differently. Some of you are just making plans to do things differently in general. Like you are making plans to live your life differently or to go different places. You're thinking a lot at this time about what you want to be doing with your life. You're thinking a lot about, oh, okay, this is where I'm at. This is where I've been. This is where I want to be, and making steps to going and doing that. And the Heron path absolutely will open the door. If you want to move, the door will open up to do that. If you want to like go home somewhere, if like there's a specific place that you consider to be home, the door will open for that as well. If there's been any blockages, any shit that's gotten in your way, the door is going to open where that's no longer going to be. Okay. Of course, this is a general reading. This is not going to be applicable for 100% everybody, but obviously, this is showing up for a reason, and it's really positive no matter where it shows up, whether I pick it from my archetypes or whether I see a heron or whatever it is. It's a blessing. Okay. Yeah, some things may have happened really slowly, but the heron is here to say, okay, regardless of what's happened really slowly, like some of you, maybe your business has slowed down, or maybe you're slow to collect on something that you've been waiting on. This is where you get the check in the mail. This is where, again, somebody sends a payment for something. This is where things pick up, business improves. I definitely see that. I'm gonna see if there's anything else. We have this pearl here, and the pearl irritates me because ironic, right? That the pearl irritates me, but the pearl kind of irritates me because it became a sign that you were going to have a lot of grit. That you were going to have grit in order to get what you wanted. So if somebody says, no, we cannot refund your money, you go, yes, you're going to. Can I speak to your manager, please? Get me on the phone to customer service. Get me on the phone to customer service right now. like nobody's heard, like the amount of grit that I'm talking about is not just like, oh, we're going to try for something. No. Grit is where you go and you get what you want in kind of like a semi-aggressive kind of way in which you do get what you want. I do feel like some of you are going to be like, there's going to be a more of an aggressive side coming out of your personality, and you're going to be very, very determined to get what you want, and you're going to get it. Definitely feel like you're going to get it because you're very determined to get it. I want to talk about this little boy charm. Doesn't come out much. Some of you may be getting pregnant with a little boy. Could also be a little girl because we have the flower there. But there's something about a little boy specifically. Could be a little boy in your neighborhood. Like I have neighbors. There's boys in my neighborhood. And it's hard for me to talk about this because, I was very close with someone and she had two boys and I became really close with them. So this to me is just, there might be, like, you might be spending time with a little boy that's very, very special to you. I don't know who it's going to be. It could be like a nephew, or it could be a son, or it could be like not even someone related to you, someone who's just like a friend. Some of you really want to have like a little boy, but I also feel like, to me, this is just very special children, where you look forward to seeing them and they look forward to seeing you. It's funny because they have the mama bear thing here. So to me, I call them the bears, but like, I don't know. I don't know. Like, I'm kind of torn because we have this ship here as well. So some of you might be, I don't know, saying goodbye to like someone that's close that has like a little boy. It could be like, again, like, like a nephew or something, or like a friend or something. I don't know who this is for you, but like, you might have to say goodbye, or you might have had to say goodbye in the past, because the ship to me is like that whole sailing away kind of thing, letting things go, saying goodbye to things. It reminds me actually of my younger cousin who used to cry like every time, like when he was like a baby, he'd cry every time he had to leave. Like, I'd hold him for like a long time and then he'd cry every time he had to leave and say goodbye. So there might be something about saying goodbye. Like, I don't know, it could be like some custody stuff where you might not be able to see or spend time with this little boy as much as you'd like. I'm gonna see if there's anything else. We have these flowers here. I definitely feel like this little boy, whoever this is, brings you a lot of joy and happiness. It's very positive. I don't know. I'm not getting anything else about that. I'm going to end off here, actually. I think that's all for now. I definitely feel like some of you are going to be to a garden or doing some kind of landscape work at this time. Doesn't necessarily mean that's your job. Just means like some of you may be doing some landscaping. But I'm gonna leave off here. I wish everybody the best. Please donate if you can. Definitely definitely subscribe. Helps my channel. My channel is definitely like at the bottom of the pile as far as the algorithm. And yeah, if you like to book, please reach out. I'd love to do a reading for you. Send everybody big hugs, big kisses. And I'll talk to you guys again soon. Bye, guys. Have a good day, guys.